How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Parlay. I'm your host, Luca Rosano, and on today's video, we got a very special guest. He is the head of DraftKings Sportsbook, Mr. Johnny Avello. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us.
You're welcome, Luca. I'm joining you from the Sportsbook National Championship here in Jersey. It's an event we run every year, and the winner gets $1 million, and there's a couple million in prize money. So thanks for having me on, and I don't know. I hope everything looks okay.
Yeah, it looks fabulous, and that's a pretty eventful weekend you got coming up. We also have NFL Sunday fast approaching, and it's going to be another incredible edition of all those NFL games. And Johnny, I just wanted to talk to you about a couple of intriguing matchups in terms of some of the line changes that we've seen. And the first game we're going to look at here is the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. So with all the quarterback uncertainty, with Jameis Winston obviously out for the rest of the season, we still don't know who's going to start for the Saints. So are you surprised that there was such a large, this is such a large spread still, despite not knowing who's going to be at quarterback?
Yeah, we actually opened this game 5 and we're at 6. The drop off, people always ask me what quarterbacks are worth. And it depends on a few factors. Who is the backup, number one? And who are you playing? Taysom Hill he's an adequate backup. Winston throws a lot of picks. And so, there's probably not too much of a drop off there. And so I think that's why that line is held pretty steady.
Okay, so the next game I want to get into, the Arizona Cardinals taking on the San Francisco 49ers, big divisional matchup. It almost seems like it's a must-win for the Niners. The Cardinals are the slight 1-point favorite. So despite Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins being questionable for this one, as I mentioned, the Cardinals are still favorites on the road here. And they are going to be coming off 10 days rest after that devastating loss on Thursday Night Football against the Packers. So is this spread a result of the lack of trust in this Niners team, a team that hasn't been able to win a game at home yet? Or do you expect this will move to the home team by Sunday's kickoff?
Well, it already has moved, Luca. We opened this game 3, and this game is now at 2.5 on the San Francisco 49ers. So they have moved to the favorite. Under some injury factors, of course, makes a difference there. But the 49ers haven't really played up to expectations this year. But right now, we're seeing that move. Now, that may come back a little bit. But right now, that just we've been hit with money right now on the 49er side.
Okay, interesting. So that has now moved to the Niners side. Next game I want to pick your brain on is a big game, and I'm kind of sad that we're not getting the big quarterback matchup of Aaron Rodgers against Patrick Mahomes. So this one's interesting, Johnny. So the Chiefs opened up as a 1-point favorite, and then after the Rodgers news happened, now the Chiefs are 7.5-point favorites. The Chiefs defense isn't that good, and they are going to be playing a first-round pick and a quarterback that has shown some promise in Jordan Love. So do you agree with the drastic movement of this line with Rodgers being out?
I do, because normally, and remember, when I say that, I'm talking about betting purposes only. I'm not speaking of, results after the game is over. But for betting purposes, I do agree, because I believe that Rodgers is worth more than what this line has moved. Now, the reason it hasn't moved more is because, like I mentioned, your competition, we don't know a whole lot about Jordan Love, actually. He has only thrown a few times in the NFL. Very inexperienced, and we've seen some quarterbacks come in their first game and play really well. One thing about Aaron Rodgers, I would say that, Luca, if you and I were the wide receivers, he would find a way to stick that ball in our gut. So, that's how much I respect, and the league respects Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's a great point. And then the final game I want to talk about here, to Sunday Night Football, we go. The Tennessee Titans against the Los Angeles Rams. Rams were 7.5-point favorites. And before Derrick Henry, went down with that injury and that news was released, the Rams were a 6-point favorite. And then it quickly went up to 6.5. And it has stayed there at the moment. So are you surprised that it only jumped up 1.5 points, considering Derrick Henry such a focal point of that Titans offense?
We're talking about injury games this week, aren't we? I mean, there's just been some major guys that are out, and that's certainly reflected in the number. On the early line, and we put our lines up 2 weeks ahead of time in the NFL. We opened the Rams 4.5, and that was holding pretty steady on this game. But then when the injury news came out, the line jumped up to 7. Now, a half a point on that jump, we were as high as 7.5. We are now settled at 7. A half a point of that was Von Miller, the acquisition of Von Miller for the Rams. The other 2.5 points was Henry. So there was 3 points total movement that got us to that number, but we've seen it come back a little because Tennessee is, overall, it's a quality team. But when it's 3rd and 2, Henry's getting the ball. Now it's throw time. So it changes kind of the dynamic of their offense on short down situations.
All right, that's awesome. Excellent breakdown of the games. Before I let you go, I just want to ask you a personal question. What's your favorite part about working with DraftKings Sportsbook?
Oh boy, we'd have to extend this interview for about another hour. No, I really enjoy this company. I mean, we're aggressive in the offerings we put up. We have more than anybody else. People always say, the Super Bowl's coming up, and I love the Super Bowl because of all the propositions that go up. Well, we put those same propositions up on each and every NFL game every Sunday. So I love the content that we provide, and I love all the people I work with.
There it is, the head of DraftKings Sportsbook, Johnny Avello. Thank you so much for your time, Johnny, and enjoy this weekend.
Thank you much, Luca.